Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, happy Sunday. We're about to start a new week. And a lot of you guys are watching the World Cup right now. So, I'm glad you're tuning in if you're watching this. But there's a lot to talk about. What to look forward to next week. What can we anticipate? Also, there is one exchange that's having a little issue right now, and they are a big one. And guess who Michael Saylor talks to and convinces to buy even more Bitcoin? Let's talk about all these things and more. So, welcome, guys. Glad you could be here. So, let's talk crypto. Let's talk Bitcoin. What are we going to expect this week? Well, in terms of U.S. economic data, there's a lot. Consumer confidence, existing home sales, Q3 GDP, jobless claims, core PCE, durable goods, new home sales. It's going to be absolutely jam-packed with economic data this week. Last week was absolutely horrible week for the S&P, for NASDAQ, right? And it brought Bitcoin down, unfortunately. But can we see a better week? Now, we're finally getting to the last 2 weeks of this month, last 2 weeks of this year. Are we going to see a turnaround? Interesting enough, Peter Schiff, and I know a lot of us do not agree with Peter Schiff's views on Bitcoin, but he has pretty good insight in terms of overall economic stuff. And he did tweet this out. This month's decline in the stock market reminds me of December 2018 when the Fed's public commitment to hiking interest rates and shrinking its balance sheet in the face of weakening economic data resulted in the worst December since 1931. The Fed pivoted in January 2019. So, can something like that happen in January? Right? I don't know about a full pivot, but I did tell you guys, we're already seeing a softening of the economy. We're seeing a softening of the rate hikes. So the next FOMC meeting, which is in January, can we see Powell go even more dovish and say, hey, we're going to do a 25 basis point hike instead, right? So that would be a tremendous cut from 75 down to 50, down to 25, right? Until it goes to zero. Or maybe he does even something more drastic. He just goes zero on January. I don't think it's going to happen. But, even though Fed Chair Powell says he doesn't really care about the markets, he does. And there's people that care and people that are telling him to care, even though he's publicly saying, I don't care about what markets do, how equities do. I think he really does care. So I think this is interesting observation. And of course, inflation is not just a U.S. thing, worldwide, right? ECB copied the U.S. did a 50 basis point hike. Bank of England, is going to probably do the same thing. So the rate hikes are starting to slow down worldwide. And overall, we could be heading into 2023, right? Decently, let's say. Maybe avoid that deep recession so many people are thinking we will head into. Maybe we can avoid it, right? So we'll see. But ton of economic data that's coming out this week could definitely fluctuate things. But as we're heading into Christmas and New Year's, things tend to be better. So can we see a huge Santa rally? Let's hope. All right, some of the other news that's going on today. Well, some of you guys, and I finally got an answer. Some of you guys may be wondering, what's up with Toncoin? Toncoin has been going up quite a lot. It has to do with Telegram. They have a really weird history. Telegram did an ICO on Toncoin. SEC sued them. They had to cancel it, refund everything. Then it became an open source project. And now they are, again, somehow integrated with Telegram and their new fractal blockchain. But basically, the reason why it's going up is because with Toncoin, you can get an anonymous, basically anonymous number that you could use to sign up for Telegram without actually having a dedicated or real phone number. So again, it adds to the anonymous or privacy oriented messaging, right? Because it is encryption, everything is encrypted, but the simple fact that you need to have a phone number kind of makes it so you're not anonymous, but now this makes it truly anonymous, right? And a lot of people may be buying it for that reason. So there's that. But this whole history with the SEC and stuff, kind of wild, but they found a way to get around it. So there's that. There's still more fear about DCG, the parent company of Genesis. So there is a Dutch Bitcoin exchange, Bivavo, that alleges that DCG is having liquidity problems because they have approximately 297 million stuck in DCG. But here's the thing. What they mean is with Genesis. Okay, we know Genesis has stopped withdrawals. They have $1 billion in a hole that they're trying to patch, right? So Bivavo is actually saying Genesis, right? Well, they're not saying it. They're blaming DCG. But it has to do with Genesis. But this goes back to the fear that I've been discussing over this past weekend, and whether or not DCG, right, is selling off crypto right now because they're trying to patch this hole. So all the trusts that they have, the crypto that are within these trusts, they're selling off the hardest right now. And people are connecting the dots like, why, right? Could it be because DCG is selling them off? We don't know 100% for sure, but it definitely does make sense. So we'll see. But Barry Silbert has been silent on Twitter. No responses, no tweets, no retweets, nothing for about a month now, right? Because he's feeling the heat. So hopefully DCG itself, which is absolutely huge, they control Grayscale and the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust and many other trusts, and also they control Genesis. Hopefully nothing bad happens. They can recoup. They can raise some funds. They can sell off some assets. DCG also owns CoinDesk and several other crypto companies that are worth hundreds of millions, right? So they have enough. So we'll see if they can pull through. Now, in the meantime, you know, as for Bitcoin whales, still stocking up. Whales accumulate 726 million in Bitcoin, right? So despite all the negativity, despite all the FUD that's swirling around these days, you know what? The big money, the smart money continues to accumulate. And that's because despite all the things that's going on, right? You just have to look at history. You just have to look at history and realize that this is the time to be buying. Here's one of those on-chain and this is not an on-chain metric. This is a technical indicator. Demarker. I don't even know what this is measuring, but there's so many like this. It's basically just looking at oversold, overbought levels, right? And this one's pretty darn accurate, marking the exact bottoms from the last two cycles and the exact tops from the last two cycles, right? Almost to a T. So showing this is a bottom, right? This is the time to be stocking up. Here's one from Plan B. And you can see 50% of all 19 million Bitcoin in profit. So historically, this correlates with bear market bottoms. Time will tell. But again, you look at that deep blue dot, previous times indicated a bottom or very, 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 very close to bottom. This is just measuring people and their profit level. So this is the time to be accumulating. Of course, that brings to Michael Saylor and this one other fellow that you guys have heard of before. But before I get to that, oh, by the way, Plan B got rid of his got rid of his Bybit link on his chart. Interesting enough. Something must have happened there. Sam Bankman-Fried now will surrender himself for extradition. I didn't even know that he had a choice. If you're arrested and the Bahamian government said that they were going to extradite you, I don't know how you even have a choice in the matter. But according to this, he will no longer contest U.S. extradition, right? And this may be the reason why, because if you look at the conditions, of a Bahamian prison, the one that he's at, he's not in Gem Pop yet. He's still in like the sick bay, okay? But you look at these conditions, it's not one that you want to be in, okay? So this is probably the reason why he wants to be extradited to a U.S. prison that's probably looking a little bit less scary than what this is looking like right now. All right, maybe, but still, of course, a lot of investigations going on, digging into the donations that he has made to the top Democrats, 40+ million, right? Where did they go? How did they spend that money? This is a complete nightmare for those that accepted his donation right now. Whether they're innocent or not, this is going to be absolutely horrible as this continues to develop. All right, I did mention about one exchange having problems, withdrawal process stopped, and that's OKX. And according to assets, OKX is now the second biggest, right behind Binance, either second or third. Because Coinbase assets, I think, could still be second, but they're still up there. So there's some fear about them, because withdrawals have stopped. But this, according to them, has to do with their cloud provider, which is Alibaba. Alibaba's cloud is fixing some equipment. So they're saying this has nothing to do with them being insolvent or anything like that. And, of course, this could not have come at a worse time because of all the fears around, of course, now Binance and Coinbase, everyone, KuCoin, Crypto.com, everyone has so much scrutiny these days, right? So it could not have come at a worse time. But they're saying, hey, it's okay. It's due to the cloud provider. And strangely enough, people have noticed that Elon all of a sudden started to follow OKX on Twitter. Elon Musk does not follow any crypto exchange, but all of a sudden he's following OKX. Why is that? People are trying to put things together, and the rumor is that somehow Floki is being listed by OKX, and somehow there's a connection between Floki and Schiff and Doge and whatever. So that may be the reason why. I have no idea. That's the latest speculation. I think it's all nonsense. But it's curious. It's curious why he all of a sudden decided to follow OKX. Maybe he wants to buy a crypto exchange. Maybe this whole thing is Elon is going to buy OKX and integrate into Twitter, right? Who knows? Who knows? All right, a lot of people talking about what Messi just did. I don't know what he did, but I'm still glad you guys are here watching. All right, now what else is there? BNB, most active blockchain in the last 24 hours, but despite Binance FUD. And I did notice today that BNB is having a decent recovery. Yesterday they were down quite a bit, although they weren't down as much as some of the other crypto projects. But they're up a good almost 5% today. I think people are realizing that despite the withdrawals, they are still way ahead of everyone else, and their situation is nowhere close to FTX before their collapse, when all their assets went to zero. And I showed you guys that, right? I just brought up this. Their net assets up to 54.9. So I think it's up $1 billion since yesterday. So seems like the withdrawals may have stopped. So that's good. And lastly, let's talk about Michael Saylor. he's one of those CEOs that seems to live on Twitter, right? There's a lot of CEOs that somehow live on Twitter, and Michael Saylor is one of them. So I guess he's following Top G Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate was bragging about how he made $1.1 million, spent $135,000 on clothes. He has $8 million of the cars being built. There's a new Koenigsegg that he's looking forward to. And there's literally nothing he could buy with his enormous wealth. He's bored, so he's going to call everyone broke for fun. And then Michael Saylor says, yeah, you should go buy some Bitcoin. I don't think Tate expected a billionaire to respond to say, hey, go buy some Bitcoin. I have a lot of money too, and what I've been doing is buying a boatload, billions and billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. And today, Andrew Tate said he will buy more Bitcoin. He has diamond hands, and this is in response to Michael Saylor, and Michael Saylor tweeted this back at him. Imagine if the two had an interview. That would be wild. That would be wild. Even though Tate already said he likes Bitcoin and crypto because, again, distrust in governments. Can you really trust governments to look out for you? Can you really trust banks to look out for you, right? The answer is no to both of them. This is one of the fundamental things about Bitcoin. This is why Bitcoin was created. Distrust in banks. Bitcoin was created after the last recession, 2008. So Satoshi created Bitcoin in 2009. It's money for the people, created by the people, not controlled by governments or entities or banks, right? That's the whole premise of Bitcoin, right? So this is not a real surprise. Andrew Tate said he likes it. Michael Saylor, of course, is still reaching out and doing what he can to get everyone to get involved and get educated and buy Bitcoin. So I would say this is a win for everyone in the space. All right, that is pretty much it. Let's see, Bitcoin is at 16.7. Overall market cap went up slightly today. We'll take that. Let's do some Q&A. Oh, sorry, I was in mute. Daniel, appreciate it. And I was responding to Rocor. Governments equal banks, like two hands around our necks. That's exactly right. And UGOS asks, what happened to Filecoin? I'm not actually sure what happened to Filecoin. Am I still bullish on AMP? Not really. AMP was somewhat declared by the SEC as security, but also, in addition to that, AMP was really meant to be a collateral token to be used by people at retail stores. A lot of retail stores that actually signed up for I forgot the app that AMP uses. Shoot, totally getting a brain fart. But yeah, a lot of the retailers are out of business. They're kind of struggling, brick and mortar stores. So AMP kind of neutral at this point. Let's see. All right. Which is more boring, soccer or baseball? I don't know. I don't watch either, so can't really comment. Which Koenigsegg is Tate having built? I think he responded to that. I've never even heard of it. Koenigsegg Jesco Attack. You know, all these exotic car manufacturers are now creating like limited, like 1 of 10 or 10 or 50 production, and they're all like $10 million. I have no idea. This one, well, it looks pretty darn good. It's approximately, I think, 3-point-something million. That looks like The Rock right there, but that's not. Maybe one day I'll get one of these. All right, let's see. Filecoin is connected to, oh, I totally forgot about that. Thank you. Yes, I didn't talk about that yesterday. I totally forgot. Filecoin, there's a trust. There's a Filecoin trust from Grayscale. So that could be the reason why they're selling off more, because, again, there's this rumor that DCG may be selling off some of these Grayscale assets to try to plug that Genesis hole. Toncoin is still doing very well because of Telegram. OKB, despite the fact that they're having some withdrawal issues, they're rallying because Elon followed them. So is something going to happen with Elon and Twitter? I don't know. Right? No, I'm not worried. The space is big enough for 2 top Gs. No, he said, I mean, I saw him in the Pomp interview. He said the same thing. He likes crypto primarily because, you know what, you can't trust the banks. You can't trust the governments, right? I mean, this is the very fundamental reason why Bitcoin was created for the people, is to get away from the current financial system, right? To be able to opt out. So World Cup tied 3-3. It sounds exciting, but still doesn't entice me to watch it. Am I still holding all my coins? Yes. Yes. Painfully, yes. But I've told you guys, I've lived through a few cycles, more than a few cycles. Got in 2013, lived through that cycle. 2017, lived through that cycle, obviously, right? And living through the current cycle now. So if you loved Bitcoin at 69,000, then you should love it more now at 16,000. Okay, so that's the thing. Everyone seems to chase the top. Chase when there's FOMO, when everyone is making money, right? I get it. It draws people in, right? But you should love it when it's down, like right now at 16K, 17K, or Ethereum is down to 1100, right? The fundamentals of these coins, the premise of them, the whole basis of them have not changed. In fact, they have gotten stronger. They have gotten stronger. There's more in this space. There's more people in this space. And the holders continue to grow. There's more addresses. And more reserves are flying off to exchanges. So you could argue it's stronger than ever. And even if you look at things that other things you can measure, like hash rate, for example, right? The hodled coins, these things continue to be sky high. Rusty bots. I'm buying a little bit. Good. Hey, we got some people on Rumble today. That's nice. Gerardo, would you recommend DC at this time or stay on the sidelines waiting? Hey, I just got done saying what I just said. You want to buy when things are low, and you sit and wait, have patience, and things come back up, and you'll be rewarded. That's how it goes, right? No one knows where bottom is. No one knows. You can make educated guesses. You could use all these charts, and you could use on-chain metrics and get a good approximation, but no one knows the exact bottom. And people that try to time the exact bottom usually miss out, and then they end up buying higher because they mistimed it, or they don't buy and miss out on these life-changing opportunities. You don't want to be like that, right? DCA, take the guessing out of it, stick to a schedule. It's that simple. Can you talk about OECD crypto asset regulation framework? Seems really bad. Jared, I'm not quite sure. I'm not familiar with it, so I can't really talk about it. There's a lot of these frameworks, like the infrastructure bill, for example, that's being pushed back now because there's a lot of these frameworks that look and, they look very restrictive and they could be quite bad, right? But a lot of them are just pushed to the side, delayed, and a lot of them gets changed. So until we have something concrete, it's still very fluid at this point. What day is the next rate hike? It's sometime in January. I think end of January. Meeting schedule. Let's see if I can look it up. The next rate hike, I think January 20. Yeah. January 28th, I think? No. They don't have the 2023 schedule yet, I don't think. Oh, I was wrong. I got pushed back to February. Okay. The next FOMC meeting is actually February 1st. It usually is end of January. So now this is the new schedule. We're going to have one beginning of February. So then end of March, and this is, you guys could read that. Is it safe to buy a BTC miner like HUD-8? You mean, Mark, buy the stock? I mean, miner stocks have been decimated. So it could be a good time to be buying. Me personally, I think just buying Bitcoin is better. I know these miners, they're mining Bitcoin. It's a little bit different. Wall Street hammers on Bitcoin stocks. You still have to worry about P ratios and all that stuff, right? Me personally, I just rather buy Bitcoin. You bet on a World Cup? No, I know nothing about World Cup. All right. Tate getting more BTC taters. I don't even know what that. I don't know what that means, but it sounds right. All right. So this week we're gonna have a lot of U.S. economic data being released. Right, a lot. GDP, jobless claim, PCE, durable goods, new home sales. We're gonna see some volatility this week for sure. Last week was absolutely horrible. The week before that was kind of horrible too. So we'll see if we can get a little recovery this week. And then next week, heading into 2023. For those of you guys that are worried about OKX, just know that this is due to their cloud provider Elon Musk somehow follows them, but I still don't recommend buying OKX coin. But I don't know what the deal is, why they follow them on Twitter. And then, of course, to sum up, Michael Saylor convinced Andrew Tate to buy more Bitcoin today with his enormous wealth. He's buying more Bitcoin, just like Michael Saylor. And that's what we want. We want more buyers, more holders, more people to opt out of the current financial system and banks and take control of our own money, really, right? All right, guys, have a good one. I will see you guys tomorrow bright and early, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'll have a recap video for you guys tonight, and that's it. I'll let you get back to your World Cup and football. All right, have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.